Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm your guide from Europe Hotel School, and I'm really excited to be part of your learning journey. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest, most intense challenges in our entire industry, building a leadership team that can not only survive but actually thrive during the crazy, high-pressure launch of a new food and beverage operation.
I want you to picture an F&B opening for a second. It's a moment of pure, controlled chaos, right? Everything's brand new, the systems are totally untested, and the team is really just learning how to work with each other. This kind of environment, it demands a very specific kind of leadership, one that's decisive, that's resilient, and is just crystal clear on the mission. Because without that rock-solid leadership, even the most amazing concept can just fall apart under the pressure.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to walk through 5 key areas. We'll start by understanding what we call the pressure cooker environment. Then we'll identify our most critical asset. From there, we'll dig into the twin pillars of alignment and empowerment, look at some practical coaching tools, and finally, see how this all comes together as your ultimate quality assurance. So let's jump right in and really define the challenge we're up against.
Okay, first things first, we have to understand the environment itself. The pre-opening phase and that initial launch, it really is a pressure cooker. You know, the number one reason new places can fail so fast, it's not usually the money or a bad concept. It almost always comes down to an unprepared leadership team that just cracks under the pressure.
So, this brings us to the big question, right? In this kind of high-stakes world, when the pressure is on, when decisions have to be made in a split second, and every single guest is a critic, what is the one thing that separates a huge success from a total disaster?
And the answer? Well, it lies right here. It's not the fancy tech, it's not the menu, and it's not the marketing budget. It is the strength, the preparation, and the resilience of your leadership team. They are, without a doubt, your most critical asset.
And we need to be super clear about what we actually mean by management team. They are so much more than just a group of managers. They are the vanguard. What does that mean? It means they're on the front lines, leading the charge. Not just operationally, making sure the service runs smoothly, but culturally, setting the tone and the energy for the entire team.
So the question is, how do we build this vanguard? Well, it really comes down to 2 foundational ideas that you have to bake in during that pre-opening phase: alignment and empowerment. Think of these as the twin pillars that hold up the entire leadership structure.
And it's so important to see how these 2 ideas really work together. Alignment creates that unity. It makes sure the chef, the restaurant manager, and the F&B controller are all pulling in the same direction. Then, empowerment gives those aligned leaders the authority to act, to solve problems right then and there. You really can't have one without the other. They are 2 sides of the very same coin. So how do we actually make this alignment happen in the real world? It's all about being intentional. Cross-training is a huge one. Think about it. Get the restaurant manager to actually spend time in the kitchen, feeling the heat, understanding the chef's challenges. That builds incredible empathy. Then, you bring everyone together for shared planning sessions to work through problems before they blow up on the restaurant floor. You know, the end goal here is simple. It's all about creating a shared language. When your managers talk, you need them using the same key performance indicators, the KPIs, and referencing the very same standard operating procedures, or SOPs. This just gets rid of any confusion and makes sure everybody is on the exact same page about what success looks like. Okay, so that's alignment. Now let's talk about empowerment, because this is where the magic happens. Now, empowerment is not just handing managers a blank check. That would be absolute chaos. Real empowerment is about trust, but it's trust that's supported by very clear, predefined boundaries. It's about giving them the freedom to solve problems on their own without having to run up the chain of command for every little thing.
Here's a perfect real-world example of this in action. Let's talk service recovery. Imagine saying to your manager, "Look, you have the full authority to offer a discount up to 20% to make a guest happy, and you don't need to ask me first." See? That's a clear, simple boundary. It empowers them to fix a problem immediately while you still keep financial control. It's brilliant.
Okay, so we've got our pillars, alignment and empowerment. Now, how do we actually build them? That's where coaching comes in. Let's open up the Leader's Toolkit for this critical pre-opening phase.
We're going to zero in on 3 absolutely essential techniques: scenario-based coaching to get ready for anything, cultural leadership training to really shape the team's DNA, and after-action reviews to turn every mistake into a lesson learned. All right, first up, scenario-based coaching. This is all about being proactive.
You get the whole management team in a room and you throw a really tricky problem at them. For example, a VIP guest is unhappy. But it's not just one thing. The dinner service was off, there was an issue with their room, and the front desk made a mistake. What do? Who takes the lead? Practicing this stuff builds that collaborative muscle they're going to need when the pressure is real.
Next, we have cultural leadership. And this is so important. A manager's job isn't just about checklists and inventory, it's about people. They have to be coached to be culture carriers. That means they are the ones constantly modeling the behavior, the service standards, and the positive attitude you want everyone to have. During those first chaotic weeks, their ability to keep spirits high and motivate the team, man, that is absolutely critical.
Now, this next idea, it requires a real shift in mindset. And this quote says it all. In a high-pressure opening, mistakes are going to happen. It's a guarantee. The question isn't if they'll happen, it's how you react. Blaming people is the wrong move. The right move is to see every single error as a valuable piece of data.
And the way we put this philosophy into practice is with something called after-action reviews, or AARs for short. An AAR is basically a structured debrief. You break down what went wrong, you figure out why it went wrong, and then you decide on a system change to make sure it doesn't happen again. This completely kills a blame culture and instead builds a culture of learning and getting better every single day.
So, as we start to pull all these threads together, you can see that this whole pre-opening coaching process, it's so much more than just training. It's actually your final and most important quality check before you ever open those doors.
And I want to be clear, this isn't just some academic theory. This kind of strategic investment in building a tough, empowered management team is exactly what the industry is crying out for. It's a core part of modern leadership training. It's about making sure you are ready for the real-world pressures of the job from the moment you step through the door.
Look, if there's just one thing you remember from our time together today, I want it to be this. Your beautiful new restaurant, your amazing menu, your slick marketing, none of it matters if you don't have a leadership team that is aligned, empowered, and ready for battle. Their strength is your ultimate guarantee for a successful launch.
And that leaves me with a final question for you to think about. As you move forward in your own career, think about your own toolkit. Of all the skills we talked about today, building alignment, empowering your team, leading with culture, which one are you going to focus on developing first? Because that choice could be what defines your success. Thank you for joining me.